Welcome to another edition of Lincoln to Local. I'm Dustin Milkey, and I'm joined today by John Collison, Oklahoma Farm Bureau Vice President of Public Policy and Media Relations. And John, this week we saw movement on a couple pieces of legislation that Farm Bureau's been watching for quite a while.
Yeah, you know what? We're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. And again, I keep saying this, but it's an election year, and it's showing out there at the Capitol. The legislation that's going through that we've been talking about, we started off weeks ago talking about the wind bill and how important that was for property rights. That bill appears to be dead. Now, I always say when I die, I want to be buried at the Capitol because nothing stays dead too long at the Capitol. But for now, that wind bill looks dormant and should die at the end of the year. The storm shelter bill that we've been talking about is been sent through from the Senate into conference, and I encourage people to still keep up the phone calls. The senators need to know, and the House members need to know now. We can call both chambers and say, please, don't hear this bill, because again, it's a property tax increase to our members, and that's something that we're vastly concerned with. Again, we're still for storm shelters. We released money this week to Friends School District, to Navajo School District. Those storm shelters are being built today with Farm Bureau dollars on the ground, so we're really excited about that. One of the other bills is right to farm that we've been talking about. That bill is finding some struggles itself going to conference. Again, nothing really is coming out of the Capitol this year. It's election year politics. If you've been reading the newspaper, if you've been following along, there's not many bills getting passed out of the conference or out of that body that are of any value, really.
Now, for people not sure on these joint resolutions that are headed to conference committees, how is that done, decided?
So what happens now is the House and the Senate will come together in a little room. They'll put a number of members together in a room, and they'll hash out the differences in this bill. And then that bill has to go back to the House and Senate floor again to be voted on. And so that, if it makes it out of conference, we'll go back to be voted on, and we'll keep the fight up. A lot of good bills go to conference and die in that process. So we're really down to the process now of watching. But again, I urge our members, keep up the phone calls on right to farm, keep up the phone calls on storm shelters.
Do we have a time frame for conference committees, or is it just kind of wait and see?
Well, the deadline for bill hearings was yesterday, so starting next week, conferees will get named, and then the bills will start getting assigned. It's a little bit of a slow process here for the next few days, but again, deadline's coming up on sine die, and the politics will be played at full speed from now on. So,
all right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for another edition of Lincoln to Local.